Okay, this is going to be super awkward, I can already tell. Hi, my name is Pooja. Welcome to my new booktube channel. I've been thinking about doing this for a long time and decided to finally take the plunge, so here I am. Hello, nice to meet you. Hello, hello. So, as you know from the title of this video, I'm going to be doing the Booktube Newbie Tag, as this is my first video. So, let's just jump right in. So why did you start this channel? So, I started this channel honestly because in my real life, I have a lot of fake reader friends, and I don't mean any disrespect by that. Love my friends, they're awesome, but I have a lot of friends who will ask me about books and have this riveting conversation where I talk about what I really enjoyed about a book, and then I'll give them the recommendation and they'll be like, yeah, that sounds amazing, I'm totally gonna read it, and then never do. Or they'll borrow the book from me and then 2 months later they'll just give it back being like, oh, I never read it, when I'm like, hey, can I have my book back? So I feel like it's not super satisfactory when you're giving people recommendations that they're not going to read, so I figured it would be interesting to try to be part of a community where that doesn't happen and where people will take some of my recommendations, actually read them, and then want to talk about it having both read the book. So I just kind of wanted to be part of that. Next question is, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to BookTube? I think one interesting thing that I haven't seen a lot of people do that I tend to do with my books is I don't just read books because it's part of a genre that I'm interested in, or it's a popular book that everyone's reading. That's not really why I choose the books that I read. I tend to read books that are going to help me engage with something happening in my own life or engage with a topic that is prevalent in the broader discourse. So it's typically a situation where I want to learn something about a certain subject or topic or person even, and then I'll start looking for books that will help me to engage with that thing. So I think how I'm going to be framing a lot of my videos is going to be some kind of broader commentary, but also talking about how the book has helped me engage with that topic. So I think I haven't really seen a lot of people do that. I think a lot of people tend to read books that are popular, tend to read books that are on bestseller lists, and I think that's great, but I may not read the most popular books just because they aren't necessarily going to help me engage with something that's a part of my life in a certain way. Okay, next question is, what are you most excited about for this channel? I don't know, I think I'm excited to just be a part of this community, get to meet people who also like to read and talk about books that they read, engaging with other people, and I think the other piece of it is I also want to be a little bit creative on this channel. I hope that most of my videos aren't just me sitting in front of a wall talking. So I do want to try to learn some more creative filmmaking skills along with just getting to talk about books. I've always been interested in filmmaking, trying to use the camera to tell stories, so I hope that I can start to learn the kinds of skills that will enable me to do that through this medium. Number 4 is, why do you love reading? To be honest, there's a lot of reasons, but I think the one that currently most resonates with me is that I work a lot of hours on my day job and it's super computer based, so I'm kind of just in front of the computer the entire day or talking to people, and it can be very exhausting. I'm pretty introverted as a person, so I feel like reading is a means for me to be engaging with this interesting new world and new ideas without having to be looking at a screen or talking to anybody. So currently it's honestly my favorite form of entertainment. I have barely watched Netflix or whatever, other streaming sites over the last few months, and I have just been spending a lot of time reading books instead. Okay, next one is, what book or series got you into reading? I have super cliche answers here. So, Harry Potter, obviously. I read a lot of the popular kids series like Boxcar Children, J.B. Jones, Nancy Drew, all those kinds of things. I think I did definitely, like a lot of people, have a slump in reading throughout high school and college when it was I only kind of read the things I had to for classes and didn't necessarily read a lot for fun. And so I think once I graduated from college and started to be like a real adult, I had this biography phase where I really got into reading a lot of biographies. I read Becoming was really amazing. I read I Am Malala, just really inspiring books by really inspiring people, and I think reading those biographies by people that I thought were just fascinating, that kind of got me back into reading recently. Okay, next question is, what questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? I don't really have particular questions for that. I will say some of my favorite booktubers, I have many, but I think right now my top 3 favorites are, one, Eric. I will link his channel down below. He's amazing. I just want to know how he is able to engage with the just sheer number of books that he's able to engage with. I feel like he just talks about so many different books in so many different genres and is able to intelligently speak about all of them, and I find that really admirable, honestly. So another one that I watch is Cindy. I will also link her channel down below. She is so funny, so hilarious, and each one of her videos is just very creative. So I would definitely ask her kind of how she developed her comic timing, and I don't know, I just think she's so fun, and just super, super engaging, super fun videos. And then finally, I am also watching a lot of videos by Seiji. I think she is awesome, also linked below. She is definitely one of the most intelligent and eloquent booktubers that I have come across. I think she does a very good job of tying together really important, complex issues while also talking about books. And I think she does it in a way that makes it super accessible, is very easy to understand, and just kind of takes complex information, especially about authors' backgrounds or world issues that inform a certain book, and then it makes it very digestible for people. So I would really like to know what her process is to be able to do that, and just kind of take all this information that people may not have even known when they were reading the same books and condense it down into a format that is really interesting for her audience. Okay, next question is, what challenges do you think starting a booktube channel would be hardest to overcome? Honestly, probably just consistency, like making videos consistently and actually committing to this. I am pretty committed to it, but actually making that happen. I think it's one thing to have the idea of starting a YouTube channel, and then I think there's a lot of hard work and effort that I'm not even recognizing at this moment that goes into it. So I think just being able to stay committed and put in the work to make this a thing. Next question is, when did you start reading? I don't know, when I was really young, like maybe when I was 4 or 5, I don't know, whenever kids start reading, I guess. I remember in kindergarten when they used to have nap time for everybody, but it was optional and you could read instead, and I was like one of the 3 kids who would choose to read every day instead of doing nap time. And honestly, there are times now when I'm like, wow, that was so dumb. I really should have taken advantage of nap time when it was socially acceptable. But I think it did help cultivate just this love for reading in me. So I don't know. This is a question I don't, maybe my parents are better to ask this question to. Alright, number 9 is, where do you read? Pretty much all over the place. So I like reading physical books. I also have a Kindle, so I read books on there, and I also listen to audiobooks. So I have a pretty diverse form of media that I use to engage with literature. So it kind of depends. Like if I'm reading a physical book, that's normally just in my house somewhere. I really like reading outside too. Same with the Kindle, especially like if I'm traveling, which obviously I'm not doing right now, but when I was traveling before, it was much easier to just take my Kindle around. So that was pretty common for me. And then audiobooks I tend to listen to when I'm driving or working out or just kind of doing something where my eyes have to be used for a different purpose, but I'm not really thinking. So it's fine for me to engage with an audiobook. I cannot work and listen to an audiobook at the same time. Just 2 different sources of actual information and words coming at me. I can't understand both at the same time, so I don't do that. Okay, and the last question is, what kind of books do you like to read? So like I said, I tend to choose my books based on what's going to help me understand a certain topic that I am just interested in learning more about or is impacting my life at that moment. But that doesn't mean I only read nonfiction books. I read probably about like 60% nonfiction, 40% fiction. I think it's just as valuable to read stories that aren't real that help you engage with a certain subject or topic as it is reading nonfiction books about that certain subject or topic. So I tend to read kind of all over the place. I think I read a lot of memoirs. I read quite a few just like novels that are kind of adventure novels. I really like reading adventure novels. I read a lot of essays. I read a lot of literature that has to deal with social issues. And recently I also read a couple of horror novels, which have been interesting. I never thought I'd be into that genre, but I really enjoyed them, so maybe I'll become more of a horror reader. Same with science fiction. I recently read a couple science fiction books that I didn't necessarily anticipate enjoying, but I did. So, I don't know, I'm definitely trying to broaden my horizons, trying to diversify the authors that I'm reading more as well. So I'm trying to keep things quite open, so hopefully something that I talk about on this channel will resonate with you, even though I may not be the right channel to be watching if you're looking for a very specific subset of books. So anyway, that is all the questions in the Booktube Newbie Tag. I am super excited to be starting this channel, and hopefully I will become less awkward in front of the camera as time goes on. I am not very good at this, I'm aware of that. So if you have any suggestions on how I can do better in these videos, that would be very much appreciated. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this video, and please subscribe if you're interested in seeing more. And I'm excited to begin this journey with whoever is on the other side of the screen. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.